this is Ruth Theresa with One Inspiring Woman, and today we're going for a ride and a chat. Well, not really. We are answering some questions. So I've got Michelle in the car with me.
Hello.
And she is asking me some questions about group readings. We are planning my autumn group reading for October 28th, 2023. We're so excited. So we were kind of talking about, like, what are some of the questions that people ask during group readings. And one of the most popular topics for me, because I'm able to see them, is
Past lives.
Past lives. So I love past lives. I love getting into that energy because it can give you such an amazing insight into your life now.
So how do you do that?
So kind of weirdly, I guess is the best way to put it, is when I see a person, like you see one person. So we're going to talk about Michelle. Michelle's right here. So what I see around Michelle is usually her angels and guides. And then around that, the people that have passed, like her family members, her parents, grandparents, great-grandparents, all that kind of stuff around that. And then outside from there, almost like wagon wheel kind of spokes, is I see the past lives. Now, some past lives have like just literally like as thin as a hair connecting it. So that means that she's not really connecting to that lifetime in now. But if it's really big, like a big rope, I know that she's really connecting to that lifetime. So that kind of is like, oh, interesting. Now we get to kind of see it in a different manner than we've seen it in the past, like connect to it. And so looking at certain past lives will kind of give you, like, you're really connecting to that past life now. So this is going to give you more information about what's going on in your life now.
So you can heal those things?
Usually the understanding helps heal them. Usually just understanding, like, I had a client many years ago, and she always thought her husband was going to cheat. And literally, she would come to me like once a month and be like, is my husband cheating on me? And I'm like, your husband's not cheating. Your husband's not cheating. But, like, no matter what I said to her, she was terrified of that. And because, like, he's, she was a stay-at-home mom. And so he's the one who pays the bills. His job pays the bills. And so it's like, I don't want to be stuck out. In Siberia, not be able to, like, have a life, and, I'm saying, like he owns the cars and he owns the house. Like, how would I live in my life without this? And so that was kind of one of those, like, interesting ones, because it came in from a past life. And so finally, when she asked me the question, like, does this come in from a past life? Someone said that, and I was like, oh, let me get that answer for you. She was just like, it really does. It comes in from a past life where she was married to someone who was super powerful. And they were married, they had 2 kids, just like in her current life. And at some point, the husband had an affair and left her in the previous life. So she had, like, no money, no assets, nothing. She had, like, basically she went from, like, living like a queen to being a pauper on the street. Like, we're talking, like, like, no money, no house, no name, no anything, like, no connections to anything, because of course all the money, and all the friends went with him. So it's kind of like, wait, now I have nothing. And so that was very devastating for her in the previous life. So in this life, we were able to kind of go back and look at it and realize that's a past life. It's not a current life. And it never got rid of it 100%. But I will tell you, she went from, like, always being like, he's cheating 100% of the time to maybe 10% of the time. And it took time to kind of, like, he's not cheating. He really does love me. And, it was like, it took it back to a more reasonable state instead of just like this constant, like, he's cheating on me, he's going to leave me, and he's going to take everything.
How many past lives can we have?
There is no maximum number. On average, there is usually kind of like a minimum, I will say, is usually maybe as low as like 1,100 or so. And then sometimes a maximum of like 2,000, 2,100. And it really depends on where you were, how long do they live on that planet. Sometimes people have a lot of lifetimes where they came in and they pass very young, so then you can come back in. And there is no, like, you have to do this, you know what I'm saying? Like, there is no, you have to do this many lifetimes. It's how many lifetimes is it going to take you to learn all these lessons? How many lifetimes is it going to take you to learn all these lessons?
So, for example, my dad just died in April. How fast can he come back?
I will say usually the quickest is maybe a year and a half. But it's one of those, like, up there, you're also talking about there's no time. No one has a watch. Ain't no one got a watch up there. So they could be back very quickly. It may take a while. It may take 10, 20, 30 years, 40 years.
Okay, so the time thing triggers another question.
Okay.
What is it between, like, 3 in the morning and 5 in the morning, or is it 2 and 5? What is because they have no sense of time, but they always come in at that time. So what is that about?
It's also usually about that time frame. Like, our sleep cycles are changing over to kind of get us to start waking up, and so we're in that almost awake state. So it's easier to come in. And normally, if you're awake, you're thinking about, I need to take out the trash, and I need to do this, and I need to walk the dog, and I need to take care of that. Like, you've got so many things on your mind that you're overwhelmed, and you can't hear them come in or sense their energy. You're so like, I've got this and this and this and this. I need to call this person. I need to all that kind of stuff.
You're not quieting your mind.
Right. But at that time, you're kind of in that sleep cycle where you're starting to wake up, and you are more like open. Your brain hasn't like completely like plugged in online, like, yes, we're going to do this.
That's interesting.
So that makes it much easier.